One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Well, how are you good people doing? Hopefully you guys are all out there doing fine. Again, make sure you do everything I told you to do in the beginning of this video. What? No sound? Watch there. You guys will say, oh, there is sound. There should be sound. This is just ridiculous, y'all. If there's no sound coming out, unless y'all trolling, I'm about to go check it out myself. Let me check it out. Okay, it is now. Okay. Appreciate you guys all being here. As you guys can see, this is not going to be one of those long videos, whatever like that, because it's just not going to be one of those long videos. You guys all are seeing this right now. I think you guys are all seeing this, and you guys are hearing this, that Ron DeSantis has suspended his presidential bid and endorses Trump. Okay, now I'll share that screen with y'all. There it is right there. I don't know who she is or what she's talking about right now, but that's not going to be the focal point. I'm pausing this right now. Anyway, let's see here. Manchester, New Hampshire, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, once seen as the most formidable opponent to Donald Trump in the Republican presidential primary, suspended his campaign today and endorsed former President Donald Trump. The move comes 2 days before the New Hampshire primary. DeSantis made the announcement on a video on X and the social media platform where he did a glitchy rollout of his White House bid. Says, now following our second place finish in Iowa, we prayed and deliberated on the way forward, he said. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources. We don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. Now, before I go on a little further, I'm going to ask you guys, make sure you hit that like button while you're in here. Appreciate it if you did that. But also what I want to say on this, though, is this, guys. Check this out. This is something that I just posted a video earlier about with Nikki Haley. Did y'all see that video I posted earlier with Nikki Haley, where she was confronted by a guy asking her questions like, if you know, the guy pretty much said, if you know that you're going to lose to Trump, why would you take $100 million and push ads when that money could have went to somewhere else? $100 million that you know you got there from your donors and supporters. You took that money and put it towards ads, knowing that you were going to lose. Why would you do that and not put it somewhere else? The reason why I said it, because I think that that's very commendable of Ron DeSantis to say that. He said, but I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources. We don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I'm going to suspend my campaign, he said. It's not clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance, he said. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. Corporatism. Says success is not our final fatal. It is courage. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this page with y'all because I don't think it's going to let y'all hear it. I know Twilight Zone. I know it's a whole lot of Ty Smiths on there. Wouldn't the world be great if it was a whole lot of me? No, let me stop. But I'm going to do is I'm going to let this video get shared by you guys so you guys can all hear this portion right here. So let's see.
Greetings from Florida. The warmth of being home is a reminder why I've chosen public service. United States Navy and serving in Iraq, to representing the people in the U.S. Congress, and now serving as governor of Florida. And it reminds me why I decided to run for president, to fight for those who have been forgotten in this country. This is America's time for choosing. We can choose to allow a border invasion, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose reckless borrowing and spending, or we can choose to limit government and lower inflation. We can choose political indoctrination, or we can choose classical education. These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure and that Western civilization can survive. And we launched this campaign to bring accountability to government, regain sovereignty at our border, and restore sanity to our society. We cannot succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be invaded, our currency to be debased, our cities to crumble, and our kids to be indoctrinated. The DC elites who facilitated this mess do not care about you, and they do not work for you. They work for themselves. They seek to accumulate power at your expense to pursue an agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians. It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve. I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by bold colors. delivering on my promises, and defeating the people who are responsible for our nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate. We don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. I thank all of our passionate supporters who have stood by us through it all. That we had people volunteer to come to Iowa in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls touched us dearly. No candidate had more thrown at him, but no candidate had so many committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Casey, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie. Casey's gone far above and beyond in her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not only a great wife and mother, she's a great American who cares deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot on the trail, from playing on the famed Field of Dreams baseball site in Iowa to making their first snowman in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
All righty. Woo. Do. So you guys all saw that. You guys all heard that. So for those of you that are just joining in, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you, if you're somebody that's new to the channel, if you're going to subscribe, get an idea what my channel is about as an entirety. And I appreciate if you did that. All right. So you guys all just heard that Desantis conceded and to Trump. But honestly, I mean, there was not even going to be any competition there. I mean, it's not. And so now it's so funny because some people say things like, now it's Trump and Nikki Haley. No, it's not Trump and Nikki Haley. It's just Trump. It's just Trump, period. It's just Trump. Now, I would say this, futuristically speaking, at least we know that we possibly might have somebody that may be a good runner-up for the Republican Party after the next presidential election. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy and Desantis, woo, it might be some people that might be some rising stars that might come along the way as well. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure the whole Republican Party, majority of them in a large percentage, majority of them are going towards Trump, no doubt. So if it was me, and if I was an advisor of Nikki Haley, I would advise them right now to just go right ahead and just make it Trump. Nikki Haley got asked a very good question by someone at this rally. I don't know where she was, but he said to her, don't you think that politicians who pretty much know that they are losing or not going to win, don't you think that the money that they're using from the donors, et cetera, instead of using all that money on the campaign and ads and all that, don't you think that money can go somewhere else? $100 million, pretty much. So anyway, I think at this point right now that DeSantis pretty much didn't have much of it. I mean, y'all, it was over. he didn't have that much of a chance anyway. So this says, since coming in second in Iowa on Monday, DeSantis' campaign has sent mixed signals to voters, donors, and lower level aides, creating a confusion about his intentions for the rest of his campaign. He went directly to South Carolina from Iowa on a move apparently designed to bolster his insistence that he would stay in the race at least until the state late February primary. But then he bounced back and forth between South Carolina and New Hampshire, scheduling events in the Granite State with little warning for supporters and undecided voters who wanted to see him before Tuesday's primary. He canceled appearances on Sunday morning television programs, including NBC Meet the Press, late Saturday, and the campaign also surrogates to stand down planned television appearances Sunday, according to one of the news surrogates. Also, I remember him turning down CNN as well. So people figured that when DeSantis turned down, CNN and MSNBC, they figured that, yeah, there's most likely going to be some moves that are going to be made in there that he is not going to stay in this race. He's not going to stay in this race. One of the things, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, for those that's been following my channel for a while who know that I'm like 3 years into just politics, whatever like that, y'all know that I'm looking at this a lot from a completely unbiased, unmotivated, with no intentions. One of the issues that I'm still going to stand to this day, and I'm going to keep on saying it right now. Who do y'all know or y'all think that's in the Republican Party right now that I always say this, where are those ancestral Republicans, the ones who died side by side with black folks? Where are those people? Where are those Republicans who were willing to kill other white people to progress humanity, period, to make sure that black people were going to be free? Where's that fighting spirit at? Now, that fighting spirit is definitely in Trump. I see it in Rand Paul. I see it in Jordan. But overall, the Republican Party collectively is weak. It's weak. I'm telling you right now, I said it over 2 years ago when I first started getting into this stuff. I said, looking from both sides and everything like that, the Republicans are completely weak. Don't know how to fight. Do a lot of pointing and complaining, and look what they doing. Look, but not doing anything. You just had pro-Hamas people shaking the gates at the White House. And what are Republicans doing about that? But don't get me wrong. What happened on January the 6th, we all know about that. If there were people that were part of January 6th that did a bunch of crazy things and whatever like that, I'm not talking about. There were innocent people that had things happen to them at January 6th. There were people that were feds there. We all know that whole story with January 6th. My point is, you just had it right outside the White House to where they had to make President Biden leave. At the White House, pro-Hamas protesters shaking the gate. No Republicans got no smoke for them at all. No Republicans have any type of chastisement for that at all. And this is why I say a lot of times when you see things like this, the Republicans are completely weak. That's why a lot of people are getting behind Donald Trump because, excuse my language, but Donald Trump seems to be one of the few ones right now that has balls. He has balls. That's why a lot of men are behind Donald Trump, because Donald Trump seemed to be one of the last people to, and when I say last people, I don't mean last men in the world. Donald Trump seemed to be one of the few people that's in the Republican Party that has balls, and that absolutely it attracts other men to that. He's not about no bull crapping with this old falling for this and being soft on this. He says what he says what he says. He says what he thinks, and he takes accountability for what he says. And if he didn't say it, he said, I didn't say it. The point is, right now, when it comes to this whole Republican Party deal, all of them should be getting behind Trump to defeat the other side, period. Now, the only way I would think that they won't be doing any of this is because some people have their own personal agendas, pretty much. They have their own personal agendas when it comes to money, who they might be dealing with, who they may not be dealing with. They have their own personal agendas, period. That's just fact. And I apologize for not showing you guys that screen that I was reading from, but I can show it. I mean, it's not necessary, but if people that want to follow along, I'll bring you in on it right there. All right, so here we go. By Sunday morning, advisors and donors said that they did not know whether he would drop out, but had begun speculating that he would. A source familiar with DeSantis' campaign said he made the decision to exit the race Sunday afternoon, today. DeSantis' decision came as a sudden surprise to allies at Never Back Down and pro Desantis Super PAC that cannot coordinate with the governor's campaign. One official in the PAC was New Hampshire bound for more DeSantis events as the news broke. Do you think I'd be going there if I thought otherwise? The official said if asked, they had heard rumblings about DeSantis dropping out. Trump and his allies began dropping hints that DeSantis' withdrawal was imminent Saturday night, with Trump saying as much as a rally Manchester. Trump said, we might get Ron DeSantis back on side pretty soon. Rep. Matt Gaetz, said that. Rep. Matt Gaetz, y'all, I misspoke. We might get Ron DeSantis back on side pretty soon, Rep. Matt Gaetz said in Florida. A Trump backer who was close to the governor before the 2024 campaign began said Sunday. DeSantis sought to position himself as an alternative to Trump, trying to cast himself as a politically successful heir to the MAGA movement and its preferred policies without Trump baggage. But in his bid to court Trump supporters, DeSantis was slow to meaningfully criticize the former president and was unable to peel away enough of his support. DeSantis embraced the hard right policies, also led moderate Republicans and independents to look elsewhere in their search for a candidate to steer the GOP in a different direction from Trump. Ultimately, DeSantis was only able to notch a distant second place finish in Iowa caucuses. Let me see if there's anything else I need to see that might be important. But DeSantis officially launched his White House bid in May. A glitchy Twitter space event with Elon Musk became, I don't know if you guys heard, I was there when he did that, when he announced his run for president. And it was so much that was going on that day, y'all. I think it like about broke the internet because they could not for the life of them sustain it and keep it going on Twitter when DeSantis was going to announce his run for president there. The firebrand conservative issues that became fixture of his administration in Florida found their way to the campaign too. He weaved his signature war on woke through several policy proposals, including ending diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government, barring transgender service members from the military, and banning gender-affirming medical care for minors. As one of the only Senate executives in the race, DeSantis at times flexed the power of his office in Tallahassee in step with his campaign rhetoric. After October 7 Hamas attacks in Israel, DeSantis mobilized the Florida Department of Emergency Management to organize evacuation flights as their war raged, with those efforts extracting nearly 700 million Americans, citizens from the Middle East. Okay, I'm not about to get into this whole thing. It's almost like we promoting, right? I'm just being real with y'all. It's almost like I'm talking about promoting DeSantis right now when he just dropped out of the race. The whole point of me making this video is pretty much to make that announcement to say that DeSantis did drop out of the race and he is now going to be supporting and backing up Donald Trump, which he should. Now the question is going to be, what is Nikki Haley getting ready to do? The big question is going to come up is, who do everybody think is going to be Donald Trump's VP? Now, I did a video on that last night. I don't know if y'all saw it. You might want to go check it out because there were some names thrown around there. But as of right now, one of those names was not Vivek Ramaswamy. It was not him. So, I told you guys this wasn't going to be a long video. I'm not going to sit here and hold you guys up. I might go live again later on. I know you guys are like, Ty, you have been on it. I told you when the speaking events and things like that lesson, I'm able to spend a lot more time on these streets with you guys. So I appreciate you guys all being here. Don't forget that after this video is done and before y'all get out of here, give it a thumbs up. When the video is over, go to the comment section and make a comment or something like that. I might be talking about a few more things later on today that I might be able to make it live to where I can open up a panel, allow you guys to come on here and speak. Okay. I'm going to look forward to doing that. But in the meantime, y'all, that's the news right now. Any updates I get, I will be presenting it to you guys. And I appreciate you guys all being here. Y'all know, as I say on all my things, and I really do mean it, I hope and pray that every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I hope and pray that every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus. What's going on, everybody? So, hey,